This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Hing.fm, and UpSnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Do you feel it? In the quiet corners of your heart, do you feel there is more than what you can see and what you can touch? If so, stay tuned and look through your spiritual lens with Reverend Patricia Brooks. See the oneness. Reconnect to your spiritual self, your highest truth.
Hello, spiritual beings. Welcome to Spiritual Lens. I am your host, Reverend Patricia Brooks. I'm very happy to be with all of you today. Today is not only a much anticipated day for me, it turns out it is very much needed also. Divine timing is perfect as always. My special guest today, Michael Alperstein, will be here to explore spiritual truths to allow our hearts to sing and dance. You know, I think this topic is so important because as spiritual beings, I believe it is incredibly important to stand in our truth. We are spiritual beings. When we remember and we breathe that in, life really does become simpler, at least for me. The lens on my perception of myself begins to clear. A lot of things that used to bother me or held me back, they simply seem to go away. However, lately I've been struggling. And this morning specifically, I feel like I've been run over by a freight train. Yeah, I chatted just for a second with Michael before I came on the air, and I gave him a little warning that it's been a very emotional day for me, so I might be throwing a lot of things at him. But what happened is, what I realized, or literally just hit me over the head, is that I realized that I don't know how to feel. And it sounds crazy. I know, it sounds crazy. Don't get me wrong. I feel things. I feel love from my family and my friends. I feel pride. I feel anger. I get frustrated. A whole host of things I feel. But it's more than that. You know, I realized this morning that there is this longing in me to feel more, somehow go deeper. I have a physical ache inside my body because I know there is more that I'm supposed to feel, and I don't know how to feel it. I don't know if any of you have that same ache that I do. I would probably guess many of you do. So, you know, that's a pretty tall order for Michael to address, but when I bring him on, we're going to try for sure. So I'd like to get started as I begin my show with a blessing. And I say a blessing each show, not only to send love and peace out to all of you, but to create a sacred space for us so we can have the conversations we need to have in order to continue to move into a brighter, more empowered and spiritual place for all of us. So today my blessing is, may all of us listening today and in the future feel the peace and the knowingness that there is more. We are more. And allow us to have the courage to look deep within our souls to find it and to feel it. And so it is. Our I am affirmation today is appropriately, I am more. Please say it with me. I am more. And whenever you have feelings or days like I'm having today, let's remember to repeat our I am affirmation. I'm already getting emotional. Okay. You know, that just really struck me, though. I just have to share. When I said those words, I am more. I don't know. I just, you know, the ache, there's an ache. There's an ache. That's the only way I can describe it. So let me introduce our very special guest today because I know he can help us. Michael Alperstein is a spiritual maverick, and his mission is to solve problems at their core by creating spontaneous and out-of-the-box solutions. He guides you back to your heart and into aliveness and trust. Michael is a life coach showing you how to use the magic within yourself and how to bring spirituality and positive energy into daily life. Michael is the author of Mastery Where You Are and the director of the online community Lightworkers World. You've heard me mention Lightworkers World in the past many times. I encourage you to visit lightworkersworld.com. And I also encourage you to visit Michael's other website, luminousliving.com. So with that, I'd like to welcome you, Michael Alperstein, to our show.
Greetings, Patricia.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I first just want to honor you for just sharing where you are right now and presencing that it's been an intense morning. And I really, really heard that. And I think everyone heard that. And it's a gift when people share what's really, really going on. So you've just given the audience and myself a gift of just, hey, I just got run over by a freight train here, and I'm still here. I'm still doing this show. So I just honor you for being in the right place at the right time.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. I need a little honoring. I do. I feel very raw. I do. I do. And I literally this morning, I mean, I was crying at my sink. Yeah. I was trying to cook something and I just dropped it all. And I was like, I just can't deal with this. and I thought of you and I thought of the show. And I honestly thought, thank God that the show is today, because this is exactly what I need. And I'm sure other people do too.
It is. There's a certain beauty in rawness, and there's a vulnerability in that, but that helps, that can spark something. So we can explore this, and the listeners can follow along with whatever they're working with. So I'm just open to wherever this goes, knowing that we're on the right track, and I just appreciated your blessing that there is more. There's always more. There's layers to peel away, and there's more of our true self, our bright spirit to see, to experience, and there's even more clarity to bring to this spiritual lens that we all can look through. So there is always more, and being okay with where we are at the same time.
Right. And you've just given me permission, and I think the audience permission with that. So thank you, because yes. I think that's the first step. At least that's what I'm seeming to find, is as I've been peeling away probably for the past 4 years, these lots of layers. You know, they say layers like an onion. I think we have more layers than onions have, because there always seems to be something more to peel away. But what I found, and I think is so important, and is that the first thing before I can even get into trying to start peeling is that I need to give myself permission to do that.
Absolutely. You just have to take kind of an initial stand in yourself and Spirit cheers us on with this, that there is permission to be where you are. And it could be a simple thought. It is okay to be right where I am. And even if the naysayer in you pipes up and says, oh, and I just tried to cook something and I'm not supposed to be feeling this, and then you take where that is. Then you go, it is okay for the naysayer to be where he or she is. It's like it's okay. That's the first step. And it's not a word that you say. There's not really a guaranteed statement that gets you that. It's a kind of a vulnerability and a movement in your heart that's just, this is where I'm at. It's that simplicity. This is where I'm at. And that is the permission. And Spirit is always giving us that permission. So it's like our permission matches Spirit's permission. And then there's a connection between us and Spirit. And we feel it in our body and in our heart.
You know, I as you were talking, I actually was able to take a deep breath, which is funny. And I feel like I haven't been able to take a deep breath all day. I felt so tight. I felt so
Take another one. In fact, everyone who's listening, let's just join together. Give some attention to your body, to your breathing. Take a few slow, deep breaths. really fill your entire body with air, with energy, and just tap into that place where your heart and light comes through, and the shining light is in you, but you're breathing in to increase that light. It's like you're breathing energy in. And you can't do it wrong or right. However you do it is however you're doing it. So even if you're taking a shallow breath, then just bring a little lightness, a little depth, quote unquote depth, even to a shallow breath. And part of you knows how to do this. It's just we're just simply setting an intent to peel away all that is false and to bring in more of our own power and energy. So it all starts in that intention. So a few more deep breaths, letting go. You might even put your hand on your heart or your solar plexus.
Or both. I have two hands. So I'm
yes.
Yeah, I like to just take all the help I can get. So, I'll do both.
Yes. Yeah. Slowing down. Good.
I've been told that basically that, the name of God is breath. That spirit is breath. That's where spirit starts, is with our breath. Do you agree with that?
I do, because breath, well, for one thing, it's, even when we breathe, it can be conscious or unconscious. We can purposely take a breath right now, or it's just sort of automatic. And that, there's a mirror there. There's something, that's a reflection of spirit. We can call on spirits, and we can do it consciously, and it's automatic at the same time. And then at the same time, air is just invisible. So it's like we are breathing with spirit. So there's the metaphor of it, and there's the reality of it, and there's just the simple presencing ourselves into our body. Breath is just one of the simplest ways to connect with your body and your heart, and that's where spirit meets us. It's like that's where breath is, where the physical world meets the spiritual world.
No, I like that. I like that. And as you were saying that, there's just so much to talk about, and I don't want to just jump crazy around, but the realization, like I said, that I had this morning, because I was so tense and I was just so emotional, and I had the realization was that I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to do that. I feel, but I don't feel. It just doesn't go as deep as my body yearns for it, and as we were doing that, and I've done a lot of breath work, but I guess I never really connected, or maybe I need to be reminded of that connection of the breath to the spirit to be able to have that first step in going even deeper. Yeah.
And there's just it's the opposite of what you think it is. It's just letting yourself be where you are, taking a breath, even with whatever emotion is there. Let's just say there's a heaviness or a fear. It's letting that, bringing spirit into that. You're not fighting the feeling. You're just, with your breath, allowing spirit to hug you and to say, it's okay, honey, it's okay. And so the breath is like the simplest action. Okay, I'm just going to breathe into this intense feeling. And with that action of breathing, you're energizing the intention that it's okay to feel this way. And it is a practice. And most people, we're kind of taught in this society to not feel. So this is part of the spiritual path. This is a huge part of it. The exercise or the practice of bringing more heart energy to whatever we're feeling, which, here's a question for you. When you say you want to feel more, say a little more what that hunger is, because I think there's some juice there, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. How would you articulate that hunger? And I'm going to invite you, Patricia, to just really like go slow and go, wow, what is that hunger to feel more?
Right. Well, first of all, the bringing spirit into the feeling, like that really resonated with me. I wrote that down because I want to remember that. So I want to thank you for saying that, because, there's that's that kind of that lens, we look through, and we can look through things many different ways, some of them better for us than others. And that, I think, is a really powerful way for me to try to remember to look, is by bringing spirit into the feeling I'm having, whether that's an intense feeling of hurt maybe I'm experiencing, or an intense feeling of possibly joy, but bringing spirit at all times into that feeling. Just, wow, that's powerful for me. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. As far as that, the hunger that I feel, Michael, it's just it's crazy. And I think it's maybe because of the world that we live in, and we're just,
it's not great. We're with you, Patricia. The listeners, we're on the edge of our seat. Like, what is she going to say? We're
constantly doing everything. And today I was just so struck, because I'm like, so much seems to be happening with me and to me and around me, and I don't feel it deep in my bones. I don't feel it. I feel like my feelings almost stay on the peripheries of my body, and I don't feel the intense emotion. Somehow it just doesn't seem to get into my bones, and I realized that today. I was like, why? What is wrong? Why do I just feel tense? Why do I just go from one thing to the next all the time? And then I was like, whoa. And then I'm like, people say slow down and smell the roses. Okay. I slow down, and then I'm like, nothing's happening. So I just start up again. And then I realized I don't know how to feel it. It's probably the best way that I can explain it. I don't, there's an old Rumi poem, and it talks about the moan of the dog for its master. And I feel like that's what it is. I have this hunger. Maybe it's for this connection. It's that I feel like I'm almost there and I'm not there. And it hurts.
I gotcha. I totally gotcha. The way I'm hearing it, and, forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but the way I'm hearing it is it's this hunger for kind of, like a beautiful, wonderful feeling that encompasses all the feelings. You don't want to feel pain. You're not going, oh, I want to feel more of this pain. I think we all want to feel good. We all want to feel alive and happy. So I'm just wondering if there's an even deeper hunger. The way I heard it is like, it's not, you don't want to get, it doesn't work when we get lost in our emotions or lost in the franticness. That's not a genuine spiritual connection, but it's when we bring some space to that emotion. And that space, I long for that. It's a higher quality feeling. It's an awareness and a love energy that encompasses our emotions and renders them pain-free. It's like when you have a really good cry and you just feel okay. You're not in that moment, you're not in pain, it's just an experience. Or even in acting, they say, you're nervous, but if you before you go on stage, you might be nervous, but if you really can bring a higher quality energy to that, then that nervousness does transmute to excitement. So each one of these feelings, and even sadness, when you breathe into that and really, really come to that sadness with kind of a deep prayer that it is okay to feel this way, then that sadness breaks apart, and all that's left is just compassion and vulnerability and awe and gratitude. So often the hunger is kind of for those deeper feelings that I would call more spiritual feelings, or a spiritual experience of a human feeling. So, none of us wants to get lost in the human feeling of, I'm supposed to feel this bad feeling. It's more like, wow, I want to feel the depth and the more of myself amidst this feeling.
Right. So there's a couple words you said and that I wrote down, and then I'm going to throw one else in there because I feel like we could feel so many things. Look, I'm feeling this too. You mentioned the space, and I was like, wow, wait a second. That means something, to have that space about us, be able to be in that space, because in the space, I believe there's the depth. And I think that's what I'm longing for. I feel the emotions, but I don't feel them. I don't feel like there's a depth to them. I want them to envelop me. I want my body to feel such depth that I'm like, it goes through me, and I'm like, I got it. I felt that, you know what I mean? And I think, and it is spiritual because that's what we are, right? And that's that connection. Maybe it's just that connection to myself, that it goes so deep, it goes truly right through me to my soul, to my heart. And truly It's there.
Exactly.
And so, okay, that's really, Michael, I feel like we're really onto something. I'm feeling really, I know that what I really feel passionate about with this radio show is that, we are spiritual beings, right? We are. That is our truth. And when we stand in that truth, things do become simpler. I said that in the beginning of the show. When we can start from our truth as spiritual beings and proceed from that point, then what we do from that point becomes easier, with grace and ease, right? This isn't supposed to be a struggle, right? This is supposed to just be our truth. It's who we are. But I think that it's more than just having that understanding, speaking those words, like you said, like you had started talking about, starting with the breath work and just kind of just even bringing spirit into the feeling of who we are, or into the feeling. And I know that when we had talked a week or so ago, the title of the show we came up with was, spiritual truths to allow our heart to sing and dance, right? So, let me ask you a question, because we're almost to break. Would you say, just to kind of set us up for the second half of the show, would you say that our heart is our spirit? Would you say that our heart is our soul? Would you say that the heart is the key to what we're talking about? And I'm not trying to lead you. I'm just trying to open that dialogue for the next half.
I would, absolutely. And it's the experience of the heart. There's the physical heart, and then there's the whole metaphor of the heart, the energy of the heart that we feel in our body. And yeah, that is the key to it. And another word that you said a moment ago was simple. And I wrote that down, and there is a simplicity to it. When our mind starts thinking, and I've got to be spiritual, and oh no, I've got to breathe, or Michael said to breathe, or am I doing it right, or blah, blah, blah. That's complicated. But the heart, there's a real simplicity to it. So it's honoring and remembering the simplicity to it in the midst of the complexity. It's like, and we don't remember it with our mind, because that's not really going to help. It's beyond our mind. It really is. Whatever words and thoughts there are, those are going on, and the heart is listening. It's listening with your heart. It's feeling with your heart. It's letting the emotions flow through your heart. And you feel that in your body.
Right. And that's where I want to That's where I want to be. That's what I want to get to. That's that. Because, it's interesting. It's actually only very, very recently that I have started to think of our physical body as an aspect of the divine. I always thought of it as a physical body that housed the divine, but I never really thought about it as being divine, but I do now. So I think, I'm thinking out loud, which I do a lot, but I wonder if that yearning, that ache that I feel is that aspect of the divine that is my physical body that just wants that connection with my spirit, with my heart so much. You know what I mean? Maybe that's almost what I'm manifesting is that ache because of that, wanting to feel it. Does that make sense? That
rings true. That does ring true. I mean, we are physical. We have these earth suits that I once heard them called. We're just, I didn't coin that word, but I just love it. And so there is a physicality here, but we all long to really bridge ourselves, walk over that bridge into this amazing realm of spirit. And it's not about going anywhere. It really is about just knowing that we are there already, that we're okay, and that, it just starts with something really, really simple.
Wow. Knowing we're there already. Wow. Oh my God. Like I love that. I love. We are there. I'm actually already there, right? I'm already connected. I'm probably, as I've been, told before, probably overcomplicating this process. So, which gives me a lot of hope. So we have to break, but when we come back, Michael, what I'd love to do is to allow you to maybe share some simple practices that, in addition to knowing this, because I do know everything you're saying or believe everything you're saying, but practices, because we do have these earth suits on, as you called them, for us to just, almost get into the habit of almost training ourselves of how we're supposed to approach things till they just become us. Does that make sense? So
that makes sense. That sounds good. Okay, we will up the energy, and together, listeners and you and I included, will increase the space for this to happen in our lives.
Wow, I love that. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue to speak with my special guest, Michael Alperstein of Luminous Living. We will also open the phone lines after the break. If anyone would like to call in and speak with Michael, the number to call in is 1-877-230-3062. My name is Reverend Patricia Brooks, and you're listening to Spiritual Lens.
Have you ever met someone that you could talk to for hours and never run out of things to say? Someone you can bare your very soul to and know that you are safe. Well, that is Patricia and Philip, two people that have found a soul connection. Listen in as each month on Cosmic Conversations, Patricia and Philip freely share from their hearts to try and figure out who we are and why we are here. See if you can see yourself reflected in their journeys as they come together and fearlessly delve into the intricacies of their very souls, hoping to discover the reason for our being. Join Patricia and Philip right here the first Monday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern for their special Cosmic Conversations on Spiritual Lens. Your angels are as close to you as your breath, and they want to share their love and guidance with you. Reverend Patricia Brooks, a certified angel card reader with the Dorian Virtue Angel Tarot Cards, can help. Visit Patricia at GodIsInTheLittleThings.com for a reading today.
Patricia Brooks' new book, God is in the Little Things, Messages from the Golden Angels, is now available to order. The reviews are in, and they are tremendous. Be prepared for grace and transformation. I savored every passage. Open your eyes to a world of light and love. Experience for yourself the magnificence that, as spiritual beings, is available to all of us. Visit Patricia's website, www.patriciabrooks.net, for more information and to order your autographed copy today.
Welcome back, spiritual beings. You are listening to Spiritual Lens. I am your host, Reverend Patricia Brooks. As promised, we're going to continue to speak with Michael Alperstein of Luminous Living on our topic, Spiritual Truths to Allow Our Hearts to Sing and Dance. We have opened the phone lines. If anyone would like to call in and speak with Michael, the number to call in is 1-877-230-3062. So welcome back, Michael.
Welcome. It's good to be here.
So what I mentioned before we went to break is that I'd love to have you, just kind of share with us or lead us through, maybe some simple practices or something experientially that we can do to really, really feel what we're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to get to.
Good. Okay, let's do it. So, from wherever you are, you who are listening, just realize, tap into this place that we're all in this together. We don't have to be perfect to assist each other. We're all teachers and students. So whether you're listening live or on the archive, you are playing a hand in this, and we're increasing the energy and creating a safe space for awakening and an opportunity to feel more of our spiritual energy. So the way to tap into that is, the doorway is always in ourselves and in our heart. So even while you're listening to me, even if you don't fully understand what I'm saying, what is this Michael guy talking about? That's okay. It's stay with yourself and your heart. Literally, I'm going to invite everyone to put their hands on their heart and maybe another hand on their solar plexus, because most of us do have two hands, and just honor your own presence, your own sparkle. No matter what you're feeling, even if you're not feeling your sparkle or you're having a happy dance or you're not feeling that, know that it's there underneath whatever you may be feeling. So it all starts within you. And the moment you really, really honor that it starts within you, oddly enough, that increases the energy for a shared intention, because we're not really healing each other. It's like we heal and support each other by route of first supporting ourselves. First, we hold a safe space for ourselves, and then we can hold a safe space for others. It's the same with anything. Listening. Some people tell me, "Oh, Michael, you're such a good listener." And, I do that by listening to myself. It sounds kind of funny to say that, but it's like you hold a safe space for yourself, and then you can naturally hold a safe space for others. So I'm just, in all that I do, in all that I teach, it always comes back to that home in your heart, that presence. So I'm inviting everyone to just really, really up the energy of your own presence, feeling your body, your breath, right where you are. And from that place, so you notice the energy is shifting, where there's a little bit of heart energy that we've invoked and expanded. And it's there. And it'll increase as we go on. So, and remember, there's just a simplicity to it. The door is always open to it. And any tool can be a doorway into it. For some people, it's nature. For some people, it's music. It could be movement. Patricia, you were asking if there are any tools. There are, millions of tools, and some of them are extraordinarily powerful, and yet we don't have to have a tool. It's like we can discover that connection right now. So just, again, placing simple attention on your breathing and your body. And even if there's a part of you that's tense, maybe your shoulders are a little tense, or maybe there's a thought stream going, I should be doing this and this, and I got to pick up the kids from school, and just let those thoughts be there. Let whatever is there be there, and we're going for more. You might even ask yourself, okay, what else is there? That's the simplest question. If there's a layer of mind chatter, then just go, okay, that's here, and what else is there within me? And that simple question invites in a different kind of energy, just a heart energy. So let's just keep increasing that heart energy, just feeling it, letting go. With each inhale, I allow more spirit in. With each exhale, I let go of all that is no longer needed. Say that again. With each inhale, I breathe in more spirit, energy. With each exhale, I let go of all that is no longer needed. And it's so simple. It's not that there's magic in the words. The magic is already here. We're just illuminating it. That's all we're doing. Keep it simple. Just noticing. And the good thing is it's not an all or nothing thing. We can be in our head and our heart at the same time. We can feel more than one thing at once. So there's beauty in that. So just keep breathing, letting go, and you're allowed to move. A lot of people, movement and moving your body helps you connect with more feeling. We get in our heads, but if you just, do a simple yoga stretch or a deep breath, that's one way, or a walking meditation, using your body, anchoring spirit into the body. That's really the path into the body, our physical body, and into the grounding it into the physical reality. And so movement is a powerful way. Everyone has their own powerful way. I can't give the one way that's going to work for anyone, but we can all work together and find that way, and we catalyze each other. So in this moment, whether you've just tuned in or you've been with us since the beginning, what we're doing is we've created a supportive energy field, and we're all in this together, both unseen friends, angels, guides, spirit, and all of our seen friends, visible friends on social media, near and far. We're holding hands metaphorically. And people are listening to this from around the world, all over, and just trust that there is a sacred pact and a sacred energy field that has been initiated and that supports all of us, myself included, to really relinquish all that no longer serves us and to connect more with ourselves and our heart. So a few more deep breaths. How are you doing, Patricia?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. I have to remember that I need to be able to speak in a moment, so I'm getting very loose, actually.
Good. Keep that loose up, and you can speak from there's no rules. You can speak from that looseness, and if it's totally unintelligible, we'll edit it out later. No worries. We'll bleep it out. Oh, she was unintelligible. Just let yourself be there. Let yourself. I mean, you and I are both on this path of sharing our work, and it's exciting, and you have so much to share, and you've written books, and I'm just kind of amazed. And yet, we're all in this together, and to allow yourself space to just to receive a spiritual gift as a host, I'm just like, oh my God, how cool is that?
This is my job. Like, yeah, right? This is awesome. What's really cool, though, if I could just interject something, because everything you said was powerful, but you just had mentioned, how we've created this sacred pact and this sacred energy. And I believe that, I feel it. And I just was thinking of, hands across the world, being held. But even when we're not together like we are today on the radio show, energetically, we're never really alone. Right. I mean, if I can just speak to that and then get your opinion on it, because even when, like this morning when I was by myself, I'm really not by myself. And when I connect to myself and I can go deeper, like you just helped me to go to relax and go deeper and feel spirit in my breath. As I heal myself, like you said, it starts with us, it radiates out. And we do touch. We're always energetically, spiritually connected to others. We truly are never by ourselves. So there truly is always a sacred energy or a sacred pact that we are a part of.
Absolutely, yes. Very well said. It's not like we just created that sacred pact in this moment. It's more like we gave focus to the pact, the unspoken pact that's always present. To support each other, to be a force of positive change. And I believe the more that we make that soul pact conscious, that soul agreement, the more that we make that conscious, the more we can live that. But everyone kind of has that. I mean, even the biggest bozo in our lives, the biggest thorn in our side, they're still a spiritual teacher for us, And I actually believe that on some level, there is a pact or an agreement in place where these different people that may challenge us, but they're still we're all here for each other's growth. So, and in that sense, we are never alone. So.
And as spiritual beings, we are all spiritual beings. And so there's a oneness, there's the connection when we've all chosen to incarnate in this physical form. But our spiritual connection is always there. And when we invite spirit into our feeling, when we breathe and we bring spirit or we make it more conscious, that connection that we already have, that just radiates out. It's just energy just keeps radiating and like you use the word illuminating. I love that word. But it's always there, right? And we heal ourselves or we help ourselves or we start with ourselves and we're always connected. It radiates out and it just helps going forward. That's that greater consciousness. That's that collective. That's that higher consciousness that people talk about that we need to hold, that I believe we need to hold.
And it's coming back to the heart. We don't tap into it out there. Reading a book or listening, all of that is a way to tap into it inside ourselves. The simplicity is so right with us that it's a cosmic joke, actually, how with us spirit is. We don't have to search high and low. The very search sometimes takes us away. So that portal, that presence, it is who we are. It's closer than close. It's like so close. It's who we are.
Right. And that is one of the spiritual truths, a very important spiritual truth that, we said spiritual truths to help, allow your heart to sing and dance. The spiritual truth is that not only are we spiritual beings, but it is, the connection is always there, and the search is always within.
Yes.
Because once we go within, it automatically radiates out. It just energetically that happens, and we connect and heal and raise the consciousness of the collective.
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with finding inspiration on the outside. I mean, sometimes we just need that. We just feel so lost or disconnected that we do enter a spiritual search, or we look for teachers, and that's a beautiful part of the human journey. And I've been on it, and I still dabble in it. But ultimately, that outside searching gives it. We take a break from the outside searching, and we just come back to the home in our heart.
Right. Well, what's interesting, I've been on a spiritual searching for the past 4 years. So I have, well, you mentioned writing books. I've written 2 books on my experiences, and there are many, many people and many resources. And I agree wholeheartedly that there is a joy in the journey of seeking and searching. And I encourage people to do that. Because what I think that allows you is, the more that you understand, from the searching outward, the more that you understand the search, you can actually get the search inward.
Yes, it helps us tap into that knowing place inside of us. This one time there was a book. It was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle that I was just loving. And as a fun exercise, I said to myself, or as an exploration, I said, okay, I love this book, but it helps me tap into something that I already know inside of myself. So what I did is I opened a new document on my computer, and I just literally started dictating and typing that book out as if I had written it, as if I was writing it, but like from this knowing place inside. I would read a sentence, then write a sentence. So it's like I took it to an extreme. I didn't do the whole book, but I did a few pages, and it showed me that these spiritual reminders, on one level, they're on the outer level. They're in a book, or they're outside, or they're on the internet or Facebook. But on another level, reading them just awakens that knowing in ourselves. So when I started actually writing that words from that book out, I did it from a knowing place. So I encourage people, I'm in a lot of groups and pages on the internet where people share uplifting quotes and positive quotes, and I do that myself, and it's beautiful. But I'm going to invite people as a practice, people who do that, to really type out that quote as if you wrote it. So maybe it's, you want to give credit if it was Abraham Lincoln who said it or whatever. You don't want to, steal Abe's quote. But you write it not as if it's this distant past thing. You write it and share it just from as much of a knowing in yourself as you can. So that's the practice that I'm going to invite people to try. And it's so simple, but it's extraordinarily powerful. And so even when you're reading something or writing something, or, hey, check out this article, or check out this, even the words "check this out," share that from that place of knowing, because something in you knows, wow, I listened to this and it helps me tap something inside of me, this spark inside of me. So,
right, because
what I'm saying is blur the line between the inner and the outer. Consciously play with that.
Right. Wow, I love that, because blur the line between the inner and the outer, because the truth is the universal truth. My truth is your truth. I mean, that's what we're really talking about, right? I mean, when we're talking our spiritual truth, when we're talking our essence is the oneness, and it's the same.
Yes.
So, the human forms we take, and the ego and all that stuff, that earth suits we wrap around each ourselves, those obviously differ, but the oneness, the spiritual essence and the truth you're referring to is the same. And that's why when we feel it, when we read something or we hear something or we experience something and we go, wow.
That's it. I can hear the excitement in your voice. Can you hear that, everyone? Wasn't that cool? We just, I can see the light bulb. And that's that knowing.
Right.
That knowing.
That's the spiritual truth.
Yes.
There are many spiritual truths, but that's like the essence of what we're saying. And so a practice, actually you gave us a couple practices, and incredibly, it's like almost time to wrap up again. So I just want to see what kind of student I've been today. So, and you've helped me tremendously, because actually the pain I had in my chest all morning and up until the show, it is actually gone. I had a pain across my left side that I couldn't release, and it's actually gone now. I think it's just my body has relaxed. My spirit has relaxed, but the breath, bringing spirit into the feeling, and knowing, giving ourselves permission to know that wherever we are and whatever we're feeling at that moment, that it is okay. It is okay, and to invite spirit through the breath into the emotion. Right? Would you say that? Would you agree?
Exactly. Invite it, just very, very simply. And it's really another way of saying it. It's sort of a cosmic smile, like a big Buddha smile.
Right.
That's sort of cradling our human foibles and fears and challenges, and that smile emanates from this really, really soul level place. I often feel it in my solar plexus, and so any practice, breathing or just slowing down or whatever, it's all to open that door to that cosmic smile that says it is okay to be where you are. It is okay to feel this way. Let's bring some brightness and lightness and increased energy and even a little bit of humor to whatever we're feeling. And that does open the door. And then the pain lifts.
Right. And unfortunately, I literally have like 1 minute left.
Yes,
but and then the next thing that I just want to leave everyone with, that you said that I think is so incredibly powerful, is to write as if it's your own thoughts, right? Blur the line between the conscious and the unconscious, because Eckhart Tolle's truth, or your truth, is also my truth. And see how that feels. Write it as if it is your truth, and then bring that into the body also.
Wonderful.
Right? Would you agree?
Yes. Well, you well said. Well articulated. I got to write that down. That was good. This is some good stuff here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I reiterated what you just taught us. So it's just brilliant. Michael Alperstein, I can't. We're going to definitely have to have you back. I can't believe that the whole show, we're nearing the end of it. I just want to thank you, literally from the bottom of my heart, for spending this hour with us and bringing such light, into our conversation and out into the world.
You're so welcome. Just delighted to be here.
Thank you. Okay. And for spiritual beings, I would like to leave all of you with our I am statement. So, take another deep breath and please say it with me. I am more. And you are more. I am more also. We are so much more than what we can see and what we can touch. We are safe. We are supported. Follow your heart, spiritual beings. There is nothing to fear and only an abundance of feelings to gain. And I can absolutely tell you that is true. So thank you very much for joining me today on Spiritual Lens. I'd like to invite all of you to visit Michael's website, luminousLiving.com, his other website, lightworkersworld.com, and also if you would please visit my website, patriciabrooks.net, where you can find out more info about me and pre-order my new book, which will be out within the next 2 weeks. God is in the Little Things, Messages from the Golden Angels. Next week, or to listen to this program again, if you can subscribe to podcast. You can hear it on the archives at my host page, ctrnetwork.com. Next show, I will be joined by Roland Comtois, a very gifted and acclaimed spiritual medium who is known for his signature purple papers. So until then, spiritual beings, have a simply divine day.
You've been listening to Spiritual Lens with your host, Reverend Patricia Brooks. Connect with Patricia on her website, www.godisinthelittlethings.com. And remember to look through your spiritual lens, as our connection is real and present, and it is divine.